I pulled it really hard like I supposed to.
It having reached the hour of 5:30 p.m., I am calling the October 8th, 2024 Modesto City Council meeting to order and ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Councilmember Scutia-Brayton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Here.
Councilmember Ricky.
Here.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Here.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Here. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation from Steve Messer, Modesto State Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Father in heaven, as we come before Thee at the commencement of this City Council meeting, we're grateful to those that are here to participate in this meeting. We're grateful for the leaders of our city and for the time that they put in behalf of the members of our community. We pray this night that we may enjoy unity and see progress. Father, we're grateful to Thee for those that serve us in the various safety capacities, including the military that serves and protects us. We're grateful for this free nation that we live in, and we pray, Father, that Thou wilt bless those that stand in harm's way, that individuals will be there to serve them in their time of need. We pray especially for those in the hurricane-stricken regions, and for those also that are where their lives are in danger. Father, we pray that Thou wilt watch over the children in our community and pray for safety in our schools. And we pray for these things now and do so in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. I say these things now and do so in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Does the city clerk have any announcements?
Yes, Mayor. Just a reminder, public comment is 3 minutes, and there are blue speaker cards at the entrance of the chambers.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have any conflict of interest? All right. Will the city attorney please report out on closed session?
Yes, Mayor. The council had closed session today to consider items related to existing litigation. No reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is acknowledgements and presentations. First is our Poet Laureate reading by Angela Drew. This evening, Angela Drew, newly appointed Poet Laureate, will read a poem. Welcome.
Good evening. I'd like to first say that I'm honored and grateful to be standing here before you today. I would like to say thank you to the City of Modesto, to the Mayor's Office, to the City Council, and to the Culture Commission for choosing me to be the Poet of the People and the Poet Laureate for Modesto. I just want to say that also I moved here to Modesto about 22 years ago, and coming here to find quality and affordable living, and I stayed here and have made a wonderful life and found community, and am just happy with what we built here and what's abreast for us in the future. And I want to say thank you to all of the family and friends that are here in person and are here via Zoom virtually supporting me on this poetry journey. I want to just say in this moment, I understand that I am the first, and I want to revel in that in saying that I want to dedicate this poem to the ultimate first, Miss Phyllis Wheatley. The title of this poem is Poetry Lives Here. Poetry belongs to the people. It does not live only in dusty, worn textbooks, deciphered and discussed by people with access and academic accomplishments and various degrees lining their walls. It lives in the hearts and the heartaches of the unhoused and unloved. It burrows through their blankets, trickles from their torment, and hangs in the homestead of hope. It hovers humbly in the shadows of shared humanity and collective suffering of those who only want and need to be seen instead of deemed invisible. It lines the stomach of the hungry, meanders along the makeup of the marginalized, infuses life into the hopeless and hopeful, and cries out in cathartic release, oftentimes turning pain into passion and beauty, an alchemist of reverent design. And poetry also languishes in the laughter of children, glows in the heat of each touch. It softens the sharpness of our edges and soothes sorrows. It soothes sorrows when the burden's too much. It shines in the eyes and the hearts of those in varying stages of love, because what is poetry without a love poem or two? It flows in the feelings of the foreign and the familiar, giving the living language and ultimately setting us free. It dances across the kaleidoscope of people and faces who populate this diverse landscape of our space here in the Central Valley, reflecting the warmth of other suns. It drips like it's water, compounds like it's wealth. It breathes joy and contentment, gives joy and meaning, and thus health. It lives in the loving, in the doing, in the being, in the seeing of ourselves and others. Poetry lives where we live. And we live in Modesto, y'all. So poetry lives here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Angela, would you mind? Are there any comments from council members at this time? Councilmember Williams?
Absolutely, there's a comment from me. You know, I've watched you all these years, and this is the first time I've ever seen you nervous. But as soon as you started, that went away, because you're a natural. You were born for this.
Thank you.
You are poetry.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you in the city of Modesto being the first African-American poet laureate. So thank you so much.
Councilmember Estudia Brayton?
Ms. Drew, that was lovely,
Thank you.
as you are as well.
Thank you.
For that poem. It touched our heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other council members have comments? All right, Councilmember Wright?
I just have one word, that was beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Thank you, Mayor. When I was sitting up here listening to that, I whispered to Rose, like, man, that's good. So, yeah, that's really good, and it's really beautiful. I would second that.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. We really appreciate you being here this evening. Would the council like to join me for a photo with our poet laureate?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got to enjoy it extra time. Thank you. That was good. Good to see you. Next is item 2, a proclamation declaring October 6th through the 12th as National Fire Prevention Week. I will read the proclamation. The City of Modesto is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our community. And fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And home fires killed more than 2,700 people in the United States in 2022, according to the National Fire Protection Association, and fire departments in the United States responded to 360,000 home fires. And roughly 3 out of 5 fire deaths happen in homes with either no smoke alarms or with no working smoke alarms. And working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires almost in half. And smoke alarms make sense smoke well before we can, alerting us to danger in the event of fire, in which we may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping room, and on every level of the home. And residents will make sure their smoke alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And residents should test smoke alarms at least once a month. Residents who have planned and practiced at-home fire escape plan, I'm going to say that again. Residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work for You, serves to remind us of the importance of having working smoke alarms in the home. Now, therefore, I, Suze Wallen, Mayor of the City of Modesto, do hereby proclaim the week of October 6th through the 12th, 2024, as Fire Prevention Week throughout the City of Modesto, and urge all residents to make sure their homes have working smoke alarms to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Modesto Fire Department. Accepting the proclamation is David Bickle, Deputy Chief and Fire Marshal. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. I also brought a special guest with me tonight, a very close friend. Sparky, can you come on down?
Welcome, Sparky. We were expecting Sparky.
Everybody likes Sparky, and he is up to date on all his shots and vaccinations, so he's good. So I brought Sparky with me. Again, my name, David Bickle, Deputy Chief, Community Risk Reduction for the Modesto Fire Department and your Fire Marshal. I brought, as course, as I said, Sparky with us. Sparky is a great mascot that helps teach young children and adults alike about the importance of fire prevention and safety in the home and throughout the community. One of our fire inspectors, Jeff McKean, and then I think you know this individual standing here with me, Chief Wise. If I may, I would like to read a small history of fire prevention and why we, this month has been chosen as Fire Prevention. Fire Prevention Week was started by the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, in 1922 to commemorate the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. Fire Prevention Week teaches children and adults how to stay safe in the event of a fire. In 1925, President Calvin Coolidge proclaimed the first National Fire Prevention Week to occur from October 4th through October 10th of 1925. The Great Chicago Fire burned between October 8th to October 10th, 3 full days, with the most damage done on October 9th. The fire caused roughly $200 million in that day in damages, killing around 300 people and destroying over 17,000 structures. The fire was said to have started when a cow kicked over a lantern in the O'Leary barn. I'm sure many people are aware of that, in the southwest side of the city. Fortunately, in 1997, the Chicago City Council passed a resolution exonerating Catherine O'Leary as well as her cow. Today, the Chicago Fire Department Training Academy is located on the site of the O'Leary property where the fire started. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Appreciate that information. Are there any remarks from council members? Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Back in July 29, 2011, about 11 o'clock in the morning, my wife and I was waking to a high-pitched noise coming out of our bedroom, which our house was filled with smoke. Our attic was totally engulfed in fire. The fire department 4 blocks away, when they drove out of the front of their building, they saw the flames, and flames were about 40 to 50 feet up into the air. If it wasn't for that smoke detector, I wouldn't be here today. So it's important that you change your batteries in your smoke detector, that you check them every once in a while, make sure they're working. So I want to thank our Modesto Fire Department for the fine work they do, and we all need to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I too am thankful for the fire department and the firemen that work in our community in Stanislaus County. And just recently, I believe over the weekend, there were about 90 young ladies, women, who were training. And so, Sparky, just want to let you know, you might not be alone by yourself pretty soon. And some of you don't know who that is, what that situation is all about. You will eventually.
All right. Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to point out also that fire prevention also is really just like they help with risk prevention all, across the board. Like when you open a restaurant, they make sure that you have the right capacity. So if there's an emergency, there's enough exits, that you've got the right fire suppression systems. And so they're doing a lot more than just preventing fire, right? They're really just keeping us safe. And so I appreciate all the work you guys do, and keep at it.
All right. I'll make just a brief remark that we know that the majority of your calls are responses to very often health emergencies. And I appreciate that service also. When we call 911, you're the first ones there to help with family members that may be in life-threatening situations. And I just want to recognize you for that service also. Any other comments?
If I may, just
Okay,
real
sure.
quickly. I appreciate the incorporation of the mascot because it gets to the minds and knowledge of our young community members, and it stays in their little minds, and it's best, that's where it begins in preventative measures. So as delightful and as fun as it is, it's just very effective in teaching our young community members fire safety. And so I thank you for that, and thank you for the good work of both the men and women of the Modesto Fire Department. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you for being here this evening, and I'll now bring the proclamation down and present it.
There you go.
Short straw.
Why are you guys standing so far?
What do you think about those Paw Patrol guys, Sparky?
All right, let me make sure you're all in the picture. Okay, you ready? Okay, please smile. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Sparkle and Sparky.
Thank you. Nice. Sparky.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, item 3. A proclamation declaring October 5th through the 13th as California Water Professionals Appreciation Week and October 17th as Imagine a Day Without Water. I will read the proclamation.
No, I think 3. Oh, just to.
All right. Water. All right, we're going to enjoy a little bit more fun tonight, but we'll hear the proclamation first. Water is a vital and finite resource that sustains all life and is essential to the economic, environmental, and public health of our community. And Water Professionals Appreciation Week recognizes the dedicated professionals who work around the clock to ensure the safe, efficient, and sustainable management of water resources from sourcing, treatment, and distribution to wastewater management and environmental protection. And these water professionals play a critical role in safeguarding public health, protecting the environment, and supporting the prosperity and vitality of our cities, towns, and rural communities. And Imagine a Day Without Water serves as a reminder of the importance of water infrastructure and the dire consequences that would arise from a failure to invest in and protect the essential service, as well as the critical need for public awareness and engagement in the stewardship of water resources. And by joining forces to celebrate Water Professionals Appreciation Week and Imagine a Day Without Water, we recognize the invaluable contributions of water professionals and raise awareness about the importance of sustainable water management practices, infrastructure investments, and water conservation. And it is crucial that we continue to educate our communities on the importance of water, honor those who work diligently to provide it, and commit to ensuring that safe, clean, reliable water remains available for current and future generations. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Sue Swallen, do hereby proclaim the week of October 5th through the 13th, 2024, as Water Professionals Appreciation Week, and encourage all citizens to reflect on the vital role water plays in our daily lives, and recognize October 17th, 2024, as Imagine a Day Without Water, emphasizing the significance of sustaining and protecting our water resources for the well-being of our community. This evening, Nick Terpstra, our Utilities Plant Operations Supervisor, will accept the proclamation. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Nick Terpstra, and I'm here on behalf of all of the employees of the Utilities Department. I would like to start by thanking you, Mayor, and Council for making this public proclamation. As a department, we are honored that you would recognize the California Water Professionals Week and Imagine a Day Without Water. The Utilities Department is proud to provide clean drinking water and sanitary sewer to over 200,000 City of Modesto customers. As a department, we are in the business of providing a silent service that ensures the health and safety of our customers and the economic vitality of our community. We strive to be great stewards of our valuable water resources and work diligently to exceed regulatory standards and to make sure that our customers receive reliable service 24/7. We continue to be innovators of sustainability for the ever-increasing drought conditions our community faces. In addition, Imagine a Day Without Water is a national education campaign that strives to show how crucial water is in our daily lives. Clean, safe water should be a basic right, but the truth is water insecurities are a fear even in our great state of California. Through great planning, the City of Modesto has made sure that these fears will never be our realities. We strive to make sure conservation is a way of life and make plans today to provide water for tomorrow. We thank you again for this recognition, and I'd also like to invite everyone to join us October 17th for our Imagine a Day Without Water event that we are hosting in the 10th Street Plaza from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to introduce your guests? So that
I
they
would.
Thank you.
I would. So, starting on the side here, we got Chloe, the clean water duck. Hi, Miss Chloe.
Welcome, Chloe.
And then our water mascots in the center are Drip and Drop.
Drip and Drop, welcome.
And then we have Shelbert, our turtle.
All right, Shelbert, welcome. Are there any remarks from council members? Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Not only do you provide good, clean water to us individuals, but we do have one of the modern recycle plants out on Jennings Road that provides clean water to our trees and to our farms, which is really, really important. Without water, none of us would be here. So I want to thank you for what you do. You got a great plant out there that does all the recycling of the water, and my hat's off to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. It was stated earlier by our Poet Laureate, and it's just this, and that is on the corner, or excuse me, on I Street, it says it all, and I'm thankful for it. Water, wealth, contentment, health. I'm glad to be in Modesto.
Thank you. Any other comments from council members? Seeing none, I want to thank you for being here this evening, and I'd like to invite Shelbert and Drip and Drop. Oh, there, look at Shelbert's going. And I already forgot what is.
Miss Chloe, the
Chloe.
duck.
Thank you for being here, and we'll bring the proclamation down and present it.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. You need to get there. I'm sorry, I hate it too, but nonetheless, here we are. So we should introduce two things. Hi, Drip. Hi, Drop. Sorry, Chloe, but I just got your name. Welcome. Thank you. All right, here we are. Okay. Yeah. Oh, we're coming up? We gotta have the mask.
Shook the hand of a water drop.
Yeah,
Don't be a drip.
You can spread out a little bit.
Do you want us to spread out?
That's got some
If
muscle.
you need to, yeah, we can. Just give it take a little bit away. He's hiding behind the big red bow. There we go, okay. Okay, ready?
Let me take these off to the glare, I'm sorry.
1, 2, 3. Everybody smiling? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, appreciate you being here. Love it. Yep, here you go.
This summer, come over, there's like a park of
I don't know, we lost some.
All right. right, next on the agenda, item 4. Consider approving the appointment of Lynn Dickerson for the vacant, I'm going to hold on this for 1 second. That was suggested. Okay, gotcha. All right, consider approving the appointment of Lynn Dickerson for the vacant District 1 seat of the City of Modesto Measure H Oversight Board beginning October 8th, 2024 to serve their respective term. Does council have questions of staff? Seeing none, I will open this up to the public. Members of the public can come forward to speak on this item, item 4.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, Emerson Drake, longtime Modesto resident. The last time we had a chance to get together, we discussed some of the rules you go by with your committees. We were talking at the time about booting someone off the committee because they didn't attend enough. Well, I have another question. It came to my attention, and actually I brought it up a couple times in a roundabout way. But you know, you have an appointments committee chaired by Councilman Williams, Mrs. Scudia Braden, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Scudia Braden, I'm going to get it right. I'm going to beat Councilman Wright to it, and Mr. Alvarez. And they get to choose, basically, who comes forward on these committees. And I have a concern because it was just a short time ago, the appointments committee was looking at someone for the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission, according to your rules, requires a member of the Board of Zoning Adjustment to be a member. Now, you had the opportunity to select someone who was a board member, but chose not to. You chose someone with no experience, and of course that was Supervisor Manny Graywell's brother. Now, it's not like, you know, we don't expect to see politics play a game sometimes, but when your rules basically require a member of this entire planning commission to have a member, just want to make sure I get it right, of the Board of Zoning Adjustment as a member, which it did not at the time, the committee decided to go ahead and send it through anyway. They chose someone who didn't have the requirements that you've set the standard for. Then when it got to this august body, no, it wasn't in August, what did you do? If I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, but I believe you voted unanimously for this individual. Now, I'm not going after the individual, but you know, if we can't count on you to follow your own rules, who do we count on? When you decide to break them willy-nilly, or drip and drop, or however you want to go with it, it's an issue for some of us. Maybe not all of us, but we expect you to follow your own rules. And you know, when we look at this, the one you're ready to appoint now, you like to take people and just work them to death, don't you? Over and over, the same people. And her resume, quite honestly, I thought was a little short. There were at least one commission that she was on, the original police commission, that wasn't mentioned. And I'm not positive, but I think she bailed out of the committee she was on before, waited until now to get on. I think you had the opportunity, I reviewed your options, to get new blood out there. And I asked for that time and time again. But once again, you've fallen short of what the public expects. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other public comments regarding this item, item 4? Seeing none, are there any comments from council members regarding item 4? All right. I have a resolution approving the appointment of Lynn Dickerson to the vacant District 1 seat of the City of Modesto Measure H Oversight Board beginning October 8th, 2024 to serve their respective term. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Councilmember Scudia Brayton, second by Vice Mayor Alvarez. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia Brayton?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Pavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalek?
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next is item 5. Consider accepting the resignation of Jose Vasquez from the Planning Commission. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none, I will open item 5 up to the public. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward regarding this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments and ask council for any comments.
I'd like to thank Mr. Vasquez for his service. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any further comments? Seeing none, I have a resolution accepting the resignation of Jose Vasquez from the City of Modesto Planning Commission. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Wright, second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for item 5?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky? Aye. Councilmember Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Item 6, consider approving the appointments of Bonnie Acree to the City of Modesto Landmark Preservation Commission with a partial term expiring December 31st, 2024. Mark Farish to the City of Modesto Landmark Preservation Commission with a partial term expiring December 31st, 2025, and Ramsam Goriel to the City of Modesto Landmark Preservation Commission with a term ending December 31st, 2027. Does council have any questions of staff regarding item 6? Seeing none, I will open this item up to the public. If anyone would like to speak, please come forward. Seeing none, I will close public comments on this item. Any comments from council members? All right. Do I have a motion? Or excuse me, resolution. May I do these all three together? Okay, correct. Resolution approving the appointment of Bonnie Acree to the Landmark Preservation Commission with a term of expiration of December 31st, 2024. And another resolution approving the appointment of Mark Farish to the Landmark Preservation Commission with a partial term, expiration of December 31st, 2025. And a third resolution approving the appointment of Naramzan Goriel to the Landmark Preservation Commission with a term expiring December 31st, 2027. And I have a motion from Councilmember Escudia Brayton. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Mayor Alvarez. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Next is item 7. Consider approving the appointments of Diane Cruz and Matthew Holbrook to the Measure L Citizens Transportation Sales Tax Commission for a 4-year term from October 8th, 2024 to June 30th, 2028. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none, I will open item 7 up to the public. Any comments from the public regarding this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments and ask if there's any comments from council members. Seeing none, I have a resolution approving the appointments of Diane Cruz and Matthew Holbrook to the Measure L Citizens Transportation Sales Tax Commission for a 4-year term from October 8th, 2024 to June 30th, 2028. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
A motion by Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Scutia Brayton?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Next is item 8. Consider the appointments of Izzy Altadonna, Mira Belkala, Juliana Garcia, Gulsane Graywall, Ibrahim Khan, Henry Kinsey, Hussan Modon, Benjamin Park, Rudra Patel, Neha Prabhakar, and Valentina Zeff to the Modesto Youth Commission for a 2-year term from October 9th, 2024 to August 31st, 2026. Does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Wright.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay. Questions, council members? Seeing none, I will open item 8 up to the public. Are there any comments from the public regarding item 8? Seeing none, I will close public comments and ask council for comments. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. I see all 11 of them are here today. I remember when we brought this back and started the Youth Commission about 4 years ago, and now we have a new crop of appointees, and I'd like to welcome you to this council. I'm glad you're here today, and I wish you luck in the next few years. Thank you for being here.
All right. Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to all the newly appointed commissioners. I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that you are going to go on to do amazing and great things, not only for the city of Modesto, but so beyond. Thank you for your service.
We haven't voted yet, but that's
Well,
a wonderful.
it's just a matter of time.
All right. All right. Councilmember Williams.
I too want to thank the Youth Commission, but also I want to thank Parks and Rec for taking on this responsibility of making sure all of these young people are served in our community. There were 18 of you that were vying for 11 spots out of 5 high schools, six high schools. 5 of the high schools weren't able to participate. Again, I want to congratulate each and every one of you. I know 4 of you are seniors. That means that you might be going away, but if you are going away, just come back home. That's it.
All right, Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. This is one of my favorite committees. It really gives, people a chance to actually participate in government and actually recommend solutions to problems we're having in our community. So I think this is a great opportunity for you guys, and I think it's really just a great decision to get involved with your government, with your community, and learning how it works and how to suggest solutions and how to make our community better. So it's a great opportunity, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it.
Just one brief comment. We really appreciate your willingness to give service to our community, and that's really what you're doing in this role, and I appreciate each and every one of you being willing to step up and take on this responsibility. What I would like to do now is I'm going to read the resolution, and I think it would be wonderful to tell me if I've pronounced your name correctly, first of all, and if you don't mind standing and letting me know, because I really do want to pronounce it correctly. So first of all, we have a resolution approving the appointments of Izzy Altadonna. Is Izzy here? No? All right. Is it Mira or Myra?
It's Mira.
Mira, okay, we have it correct. Mira Belcala. Juliana Garcia. All right. Gulsane Graywall. Got it, okay. Ibrahim Khan. All right, thank you. Henry Kinsey. Welcome. Husan Modon?
It's
Hassan, that's okay. All right, my error. Hassan Modon. Benjamin Park. Here. Rudra Patel.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Neha Prabhakar.
That's correct.
All right. And Valentina Zeff. All right. To the Modesto Youth Commission for a 2-year term from October 9th, 2024 to August 31st, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion by Councilmember Wright. Second by Councilmember Ricky. And will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky. Aye. Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Dwelling.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next. Item 9, consider approving the appointment of Jeremiah Sasser to the Modesto City County Airport Advisory Committee for a 4-year term with an expiration date of June 30th, 2028. Does council have any questions of staff? Seeing none, we will open this item up to the public. Item 9, any members of the public that would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I will close public comments. Any comments from council members? Seeing none, I have a resolution approving the appointment of Jeremiah Sasser to the Modesto City County Airport Advisory Committee for the position of small aircraft owner/general aviation for a 4-year term with an expiration date of June 30th, 2028. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Wright,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Alvarez. Will the clerk please call the roll for this item?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudetto-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Pavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwalin.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Let's see. All right. As noted on the agenda, public comment will be only in person. Zoom will still be available for viewing and wordly translation. Thank you all for being here tonight. The City of Modesto Council meetings are a place where everyone is encouraged to listen, share views, and participate in the decision-making process that benefits our community. Your engagement is valuable, and it helps our council and city staff collaborate on finding solutions that enhance the quality of life for the residents of Modesto. To be fair and equitable, every individual has the right to speak at this council meeting. However, it is imperative that we foster and maintain a respectful environment. It is the mayor's responsibility to preserve strict order and decorum at all council meetings. Pursuant to the Charter of the City of Modesto, Article 6, the Mayor, Section 601, Powers and Duties of Mayor. The mayor shall have authority to preserve order at all council meetings and to remove or cause the removal of any person from any meeting of the council for disorderly conduct, to enforce the rules of the council, and to determine the order of business under the rules of the council. Accordingly, the city council meeting decorum rules are as follows. Please be respectful of all presenters, council members, staff, and members of the public. Please refrain from clapping other than following a presentation. All speakers are encouraged to state their name and city of residence. All questions must be directed to the mayor. Please do not block the view of others by holding signs up during council meetings. Time limits for public comments is 3 minutes, but may be limited at the discretion of the mayor to manage the business of the council. Speaking over others or interrupting while others have the floor is not permitted. Cell phones should be turned off or shall be set to vibrate during meetings. Thank you for your patience and participation as we work together to address the issues impacting the community. Maintaining order and decorum during the city council meeting is crucial in the effective governance of Modesto and ensuring the council's decisions are reflective of the community's priorities. Anyone disrupting the council meeting may be asked to leave. Does anyone wish to speak on any item under public comment? This is for items not on the council agenda, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to address the city council is asked to follow the rules of decorum, which are posted at the entrance of the chambers. At this point, I will read the cards in the order I received them. Danielle Morgart.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. My name is Danielle Morgar. I'm from the Office of Assemblyman Juana Alanis, here tonight to provide you a legislative update. So the last meeting I had attended, I had mentioned that in September 30th last month, the governor had to veto or sign any law on that date. So as of September 30th, Assemblyman Juana Alanis had a few more of his bills signed into legislation, including but not limiting AB 1954, which increases transparency and public safety for counties under consideration for placement of sexually violent predators. AB 1871 adds financial literacy to social science curriculum for grades 7 through 12. And for his first term, so Assemblyman Alanis' first term, usually in the Assembly, it's every 2 years, he has successfully in total had 16 of his bills signed into law. So, any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate on reaching out to our office, whether it's in regards to legislation or if you guys have any issues with any state agency. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next is Diane Creasy.
Diane Cruzy, Modesto, California. And it's been a while, hasn't it? Good evening, all of you. And thank you for accepting me, by the way. Yeah, well, a lot of time has passed since the last time I talked about homeless, but that's why I'm here. They're not in any better shape right now. In fact, it's even worse. Even if you forget the heat that we are experiencing right now, that's just one of the things. And there's no places for them to go. And in fact, when they do go, they get moved, whether it's cool, hot, or whatever it is. And because now it's the law. You guys have been sanctioned to do, not you, but the law has said you can move them anywhere you want to, as long as they don't camp, which means they don't live. Not the way you and I do anyway. The state has gone from money for housing, which was, I'm not exactly sure, obviously, because I wasn't on any kind of a committee, but that was to pallet houses and motel rooms and blah, 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 and not too much of it, it counted on, took into account that they need constant monitoring, and they have to, some people have to really be taught, to become what you call normal. But nobody, there's no more money for housing now, though, but the governor, has now said that he's going to give money to cities and counties and et cetera for getting rid of encampments, which is lovely. We've gone from housing to get out of my way. But anyway, that's what I think. An article in the Bee, Councilmember Rosa, I think I say your name correctly, was saying how well the city has done since 2019. I think she quoted street teams, but I'm not positive. And she said from 2019 to 2024. Well, you know what, I kind of, and she quoted the amount of people. And so what I did was I took 5 years, that's 5 years. And every year, the 153 people, every year it was 30.6 people that got housing. Per month of those was 2.5. It doesn't sound too great to me because we're talking about 5 years here. And jobs, it was something like 82 people got jobs. We're talking about 5 years here now, guys. So every year per year, 16.2, I don't know where the .2 came in, but that's who got jobs. We have thousands of people out there. And per month, 1.45. So I have to ask you, do you really think that's progress? Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Next, we have Kevin McClarty.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I wanted to speak to you about a regional airport for Stockton and Modesto. This idea has been broached before. Besides, it has been broached by the executive director of the Stockton Airport previously, several times. And you know, the Modesto Airport, we've visited the idea of extending the runway 500 feet. We've talked about having airlines come here that have a smaller wingspan capability and you know, airplanes that require smaller runways. But we've never gotten anywhere with that. So maybe it's time that we talk about a regional airport. And that would not involve our having to invest any money in expanding our current airport. So if we were to do that, it would be similar to what we have in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport in Texas. which is a very large airport that is serving both Dallas and Fort Worth, Texas. So my idea would be that, this would be the Stockton Modesto National Airport. Not a regional airport, the Stockton Modesto National Airport. And we would have regular shuttle buses that would provide regular service from Modesto, to and from Modesto Airport to the Stockton Airport, or to this new Stockton Modesto National Airport. And that would accommodate the large aircraft, and we would be able to have regular airline service that would service this area. But I'm not leaving Modesto out. Modesto would have a role in this too. My idea is that Modesto could help address the national pilot shortage. And how would we do that? Well, we could have a flight school that trains pilots of twin-engine planes, and small twin-engine planes as well as a twin-engine jet aircraft. And in return for that, those airlines would provide us with service to other comparable cities that have airports similar to that of Modesto, and the pilots would attain their hours that way. So we would be providing the service to the national airlines, we would be getting something in return, and also we would have this regional airport. So just food for thought.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any other public comments at this time for items not on the agenda? All right.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor. Emerson Drake again. We all value transparency in our ruling bodies. And when it comes to transparency, I have to take exception for what went on this last week. I did a public record request to find out about the pre-agenda meetings that you have, to see if we're using people in the most efficient way, and to see if the public can actually get involved. Then I threw in another public record request asking about your standing committees. One committee meeting and one council meeting. Well, I found out for one thing, when I asked for council members, Madam Mayor, the city manager doesn't think you're one because you're not included. No offense. Don't know why. I found out that you meet two different groups of two, and then you have two singles. And again, Madam Mayor, you were excluded. But I'd also ask the question for the names of staff that attended those meetings. Well, the city manager's office didn't feel it was necessary to follow a simple public record request. Now, we can play games, and we all know if you're going to have 8 meetings in a week, and you have to make sure not only you attend, that the staff attends, there's got to be a checklist, so to speak, somewhere. Now, I didn't want to go through and throw some blanket thing out to get all the emails involved. That seemed ridiculous. But the city manager, he just scoffs. I made the point last Friday to call and say, hey, we need to adjust this. You need to give me the information I'm requesting. Well, I haven't heard back yet. Although I got the great runaround from the city attorney's office, the city manager's office. They play the games, they toss it to the city clerk's office. It actually falls back on the city manager because that's who was assigned to in the first place. I would ask that you make something as simple as this, because I'm pushing for that Monday meeting. For that pre-agenda meeting. I think that's important. I think not only the public gets to attend that, but you get to sit together in a room and discuss these topics all together. Not separated, not giving somebody who's going to craft your opinion. Everybody gets together, but the city manager's reluctant. Now I ask you, who's in charge? Why? COVID stopped it. I could appreciate that, but COVID's over, at least as far as this issue is concerned. You meet together on a regular basis, so why not go back and do it in public? I don't think that's outrageous. Now, swinging to another topic shortly that I need to mention, I noticed you're applying, or you've got an application out there for another aide for the city council. Well, I don't know if that's in addition to the one you already have or replacing one. I'm not getting into personnel issues. The reason I ask, though, is because I believe that we've, on occasion in the past, used aides for errands. And that's illegal. Now, the question is, if you're at home and you're a council member Can I have another 20 seconds? I'll wrap it up.
Yeah,
Just going to
please.
ask my question. If you're a council member and you need to go get the agenda packet, most of us just download it at home, but if you chose not to, I would suggest it's an errand for you to come to the city, download it in your office and take the entire packet home with you. But no, the city council member here was insisting that that aide that we're talking about, he's got a different title, but she's a city staff member that works for the council, was required bordering on many occasions, to download that here at City Hall and run it to that council member's home. Now, I'm sorry, I think that's wrong.
All right, your time is up.
Mrs. Scudia Britt?
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to come forward to speak under public comment? This is for items not on the agenda. All right. Would you like to come forward and speak? I think you already spoke during public comment, so that's it. All right, next on the agenda is consent items. An item may be removed from consent and discussed at the request of a member of the public or council member. Is there anyone on the council that would like a consent item removed for further discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone on the public that would like an item removed from consent for further discussion or comment? I have a request from Emerson Drake to pull item 18 and item 24. Will the city clerk please read the consent items?
Item 10, consider approving the minutes for the September 24th, 2024 council meeting. Item 11, consider approving final adoption of ordinance 3784 CS, authorizing the levy of special taxes within the City of Modesto held within City of Modesto Community Facilities District Number 2024-1 Tivoli. Item 12, consider approving the recommended budget adjustments to fiscal year 2023, 2024, and 2024-2025 annual operating and CIP budgets. Item 13, consider accepting engineering and planning document reports related to bicyclist, pedestrian, and school zone safety, systemic safety analysis report, local roadway safety plan, non-motorized master plan update, and school safety program study. Item 14, consider accepting the new Zeph Road realignment public improvements and approving summary vacation of the old Zeph Road alignment located adjacent to Crow's Landing Road, authorizing the city clerk to file a notice of completion with the Stanislaus County Recorder's Office and releasing securities upon expiration of statutory periods. Item 15, consider accepting the monthly investment report for July 2024. Item 16, consider accepting an informational report on the July and August 2024 grant applications and awards. Item 17, consider accepting an informational report for the August 2024 accounts payable payment register and void report. Item 18 was removed from consent. Item 19, consider approving an agreement with Chelsea Incorporated for the purchase of Cisco network communication equipment and services for an amount not to exceed $178,806. Item 20, consider approving the amendment of a partner agency related to the Board of State and Community Corrections California Violence Intervention and Prevention Grant. Item 21, consider approving an agreement with Mather Aviation LLC, Mather, California, for aircraft maintenance and repair services for a total amount not to exceed $159,768 over 2 years. Item 22, consider approving the payment for records management software annual maintenance for Central Square Technologies, Lake Mary, Florida, for a total amount not to exceed $100,408. Item 23, consider approving the First Amendment with Gallo Center for the Arts, Modesto, California, for Lot 25, employee discounted parking, increasing the agreement amount by $5 per parking permit per month and extending the term of the agreement from July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. Item 24 was removed from consent. Item 25, consider approving an agreement for painting of water wells and tank sites for HB Restoration Incorporated of Rio Lindo, California, for a total amount not to exceed $669,076 over 5 years. Item 26, consider approving the adoption of the City of Modesto's pyrethroid management plan and all associated appendices. Item 27, consider approving the First Amendment with LabWorks LLC, Delhi, Utah, for the annual maintenance and support of LabWorks LIMS software, increasing the agreement amount by $10,504.
All right, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as read?
Motion to approve.
All right.
Second.
A motion from Councilmember Wright, second from Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for these items?
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Wright?
Aye.
Councilmember Smoothie
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky?
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro?
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye, so it carries unanimously. We will go to item 18. Consider approving the amendments for bottled water delivery services for citywide locations to Blue Triton Brands doing business as Ready Refresh, Livermore, California, and Diaz Services of America Incorporated, DBA Primo Water North America, Manteca, California, increasing the agreement amount by $95,000 over the term of the agreement. And we will have a staff report. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Deanna Christensen, Director of Finance. We are recommending an amendment to our bottled water delivery services. We are required as an organization to comply with the Cal OSHA requirements and to provide clean drinking water to our field staff that are in operations. In addition, as part of this original agreement that was approved, under the first year, we incorporated providing bottled water for the Grayson community due to the nitrate removal requirements that the city was required to do per the state. So the two main reasons why this amendment is being requested is the first part is associated with the Grayson bottled water that was provided. So based on the time period that we provided, and what was actually expended, we actually ended up incurring $120,000 worth of expenses for that specific need. So we need to increase the original estimate by $20,000. And then the remaining increase, which is adding an additional $15,000 per year over the 5-year agreement, we are anticipating and seeing a higher use in quantity based on the bottled water services predominantly as we've observed with the hot summer. So we are anticipating that, again, it could run into the future years. So again, we just want to be prepared and anticipate a higher quantity than what was originally estimated when this original agreement came to council in March. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Council member questions. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Deanna, a question. If we don't use the amount of water that we're anticipating down the road, does those funds come back to the general fund?
Correct. We would only expend the funds based on the use of requesting those bottled water from these companies.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right. Any other questions regarding item 18 from council members? Seeing none, I will open this up to the public. Any members of the public regarding item 18?
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. Just to clarify, so I understand, and everybody else does too, part of this is to pay for the water going to Grayson, correct?
Yes.
How much of that actually what's Grayson costing us right now? Could you tell me?
All right. I believe that it was mentioned in the report, but would you like to reiterate?
I had somebody ask me a question.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
It was $120,000.
And that comes from what fund, Madam Mayor?
All right. Yeah. Can you just step away and then,
sure.
how about if do you have other questions and then we can hopefully get them answered?
Can she answer? Sometimes you have to ask the question to ask the next question. It only says.
All right. Would you please respond?
You mean to stand too close? I apologize.
It was our water fund, utility fund.
Thank you.
And of course, that comes from the ratepayers. So I guess what I'm going to point out once again is that you're requiring the residents of Modesto to pay for someone else's water. We're doing the cost for someone else's water. We're doing that in Del Rio. The rich people don't have to pay their costs. They get to do what they want. I feel sorry for the people in Grayson. But you have a fiduciary responsibility. Everybody throws that word around. But it's the people of Modesto. You are actually overcharging us. You've been overcharging us for years. It didn't used to be that way. People at home, Madam Mayor, we had a multi-rate system. So what it cost to do business in that area, they got charged for it. That seems to be reasonable to me. We don't have to have this weight of Del Estes hanging around our necks forever. We had a way out of it and we walked away from it. Now 218 will get you there. So let's start charging people what it costs instead of having the citizens of Modesto pay the brunt. We're tired of it. You can't tell me that maybe you know people that say, sure, I'll throw money away for somebody else, but I honestly don't know many. I mean, we're not talking about charity here. We're talking about costs. You're supposed to pass the costs on to the people that are incurring them. That's not us. You do it and you don't even make a change of it. I keep hearing rumors that you're going to look at something, but put something on the agenda. Let's see some staff being required to to respond to these questions. Why should we be paying extra? That's coming out of our fund. And no, it won't go back to the general fund. This would actually revert back to the water fund, but I know your question was more general than that, so. Think about it. You're requiring people to spend more money than they have to. Thank you very much for your time.
Any other public comments regarding item 18?
Loretta Carr, yes, I don't understand this altogether, but you guys are paying for bottled water for you guys to drink. I want to know, the gentleman got up here a moment ago and spoke about our water. Then why is it that right here in this building, you can't drink out of that? What's wrong with that water that comes up? By gollies, at my house, I've drank that water for 50 years, and it's still good. I know plenty of people who buy water, but yes, they've got money. Lots of us don't have all that darn money. And if you work in the city of Modesto and you get that bottled water, yes, every one of you should have to pay for that bottled water also.
All right, any other comments from the public regarding item 18? All right, at this time, I will see if there are any comments from council members regarding item 18. Seeing none, I have a resolution approving the amendments with Blue Triton Brands doing business as Ready Fresh, Livermore, California, and DS Services of America, Incorporated, DBA Primo Water, North America, Manteca, California, for bottled water delivery services for citywide locations, increasing the agreement amount by $35,000 for the first year, estimated amount for a new revised first year estimated amount of $235,000, and increasing the agreement by $15,000 for the annual estimated amounts for revised annual estimated amount of $115,000, and increasing the agreement amount by $95,000 for the total combined revised total amount of $695,000 for the term of the agreement, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the amendments. Do I have a motion? Moved by Councilmember Bavaro.
Second.
Second by Councilmember Escudilla-Brayton. Will the clerk please call the roll for item 18?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Escudilla-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwellen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Next, we will go to item 24. Consider approving the First Amendment with Beard Land Improvement Company and Modesto and Empire Traction Company for the water well right-of-way lease agreements, increasing the amount by $2,764,332 and extending the term of the agreement from December 31st, 2024 to December 31st, 2034. And we will have a staff report. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Jeff Daniels, Acting Utilities Director. I'm stepping in for Will Wong. So this item is, there's four pieces of property that we currently lease from the Beard Land the Beard Land Improvement Company and the Modesto Empire Traction Company. So there's 4 properties and there's 5 wells on these properties. So one of the properties has 2 wells on it. These wells supply water to the Modesto water system. They're located in the Beard Industrial Park, which is over in the, I guess you'd say, north of Yosemite and south of Finch Road between McClure and Cadoni. We're looking for an amendment to this lease to extend out through 2034. The approximate price for Leasing these pieces of ground over that term was $2,764,332. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions from council members regarding item 24? Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. How long has the City of Modesto been leasing these wells?
The city took ownership. These are, I would consider them to be some legacy wells from the Del Este Water Company that we procured back in the mid-90s. Since that point, the city has been leasing the property from the city has been leasing those pieces of property from Beard since then.
And are these wells considered a backup, like if we were to get into another drought situation? Is that kind of the purpose of these, like an insurance policy for us?
Yes, you're correct. Yeah, that's very much so. Basically, we have approximately 75 wells throughout the water system. We've experienced that. I mean, that was a very good question because during the last drought in 2015, we all realized how precious water was. We had very large cutbacks, and at that time we had large cutbacks from MID, who supplies the surface water supply for the city. With those cutbacks, we needed every well that we had online in order to supply the city water. So I would consider those basically an insurance policy, like you mentioned, to have access to those wells when that time arises, and at any point it could, as far as the drought goes. Yep.
All right, Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Jeff, we have 5 wells there, correct?
Correct.
And they're all active wells?
Correct.
And any of the wells contaminated?
4 of the 5 have constituents, yes.
And
they have treatment.
We're treating those,
correct?
And those are still in producing?
Still in production, yep.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions from council members regarding item 24? Seeing none, I'll open this item up to the public. Members of the public, please.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Emerson Drake again. You know, we've been saddled with this bad decision back since the 90s. And, you know, in the 90s, that's when we guys were, obviously you weren't there. That's when the city council was playing fast and loose. That's when it was after, towards the end of the Village 1 fiasco, where we bent over backwards to help our friends. Now, the people in Beard Land Development and the M&ET, that's the two groups. Traction company always sounds strange. They're out of the city. You made the decision, the council made the decision to say, no, you don't have to come into the city. You get to vote. Well, they don't want to come into the city, but they want our water. They want our power. They want our services. They want police. They want fire. But, so why? Why in God's name can't somebody go out there and cut a deal with them and say, hey, if you want all this, give us the wells. Grant us a free lease. We're spending $110,000 a year for one. We're spending $160,000 a year for another. It always sounds better if you just say the years it costs rather than the cumulative. Because you guys, you deal in so many zeros when it gets to millions, you know, it's just the same old, same old. For those of us that are out here in the public, those mean a lot. That's big numbers to us. So why don't we do something in that? We're not required to give away money just because we've always done it. Now, I know Beard, they've got their fingers in everywhere. They're nice, they're good people, they're nice, they're friendly. But you know, they're almost chasing away people down there. PCE, or Pacific Container, almost didn't expand because Beard won't sell land anymore. They'll only lease it because they were starting to run out of land when they were selling it. So now they're getting cheaper. Well, you can build your own place, but you're gonna lease it. But yet we're handing money just because they happen to have a well there. I'd wonder whether we can sink wells that isn't on their property and replace them. I mean, what's a couple $100,000 a year? You don't seem to care. Fiduciary doesn't mean a word. It's just the word. It doesn't mean anything. Why do we continue to give away money just because they've got their political fingers in everything? And they do. They sit across the street. There's no denying it. They're in the city manager, they got the phone, they pick it up. There's reasons we do these things. You're the reason we're not supposed to do these things. You're supposed to help us out. You know, I kept hoping before the new tax measure passed, that they'd finally get cheap enough and go, whoa, we got to stop this. But as a result, they were doing it through the water. So they just raised our water rates. It's not right. Do something for the people you represent. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Any other comments regarding item 24 from the public? Seeing none, comments from council members regarding this item. Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to support this item because it's an insurance policy for the city of Modesto and our residents. Should we go into another drought like we experienced not too many years ago and also back to 2015, the last thing we want to do is to start off rationing water. And so I think this is good use of taxpayer money, and it does represent the people of Modesto in a positive and safe way. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Ricky.
I just want to echo Councilmember Bavaro's sentiments here. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? And so if we can have reserve water when we need it, I think it's very critical to the residents, and I think it's something that's important that we should really focus on when we're doing our decision making here.
All right, thank you. Any comments, further comments from council members? Seeing none, I have two resolutions. I will read them. Resolution approving the First Amendment to the water well right-of-way lease agreement with Beard Land Improvement Company for the water well site on Spanker Avenue for the City Well 225 and well site on Farrer Avenue for City Well 279, increasing the amount by $1,113,533 over 10 years and extending the term of the agreement from December 31st, 2024 to December 31st, 2034, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to execute the amendment. A resolution approving the First Amendment to the water well right-of-way lease agreement with Modesto and Empire Traction Company for the water well site on Yosemite Boulevard for the City Wells 291 and 292, and water well site on South McClure Road for City Well 308, increasing the amount by $1,650,799 over 10 years, and extending the term of the agreement from December 31st, 2024 to December 31st, 2034. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
A motion by Councilmember Bavaro, second by Councilmember Williams. Will the clerk please call the roll for item 24?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bavaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwallen.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is council comments and reports. Do any council members have any comments and reports at this time? Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. In recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month, which we are currently still in, I would like to recognize two exemplary women who reside in District 1 and who are pillars of our community. First, Christine Schweitznager. Anyone that knows Christine knows that she is a dynamic person with a contagious laughter that joyfully permeates when she enters into any room. Christine currently is the CEO of the California Building Exchange, and she is the past executive director of the Stanislaus Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. But her true passion has always been her devotion to her community. She has devoted countless volunteer time to multiple nonprofits, including the American Leadership Forum and Rotary. For many years, Christine was the co-owner of Vision magazine, which focused on showcasing the successes and contributions made by Latinos. During this 2024 Hispanic Heritage Month, I am honored to recognize Christine Schweitznager as an exemplary District 1 Latina. Secondly, Maggie Mejia. Maggie currently resides in District 1 and has lived in Modesto for 44 years. Maggie works tirelessly and selflessly for her community. She is the past president of Community Leadership Roundtable. She is one of the first organizers for the Stanislaus County United Farm Workers and is an active coordinator for Mujeres Latinas. Maggie has served as a county commissioner on aging for over 15 years and was recently reappointed. Again, during this 2024 Hispanic Heritage Month, I am honored to recognize Maggie Mejia as an exemplary District 1 Latina. Thank you, ladies, for your love and commitment to our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor, and I second that motion on those two wonderful individuals in our community that do so much. On the 26th of September, we had the open house for Senior Center, and the mayor and I, and also Councilmember Wright, were there to enjoy that. Following that evening, we had the privilege of being able to go to the League of Cities dinner. Our city councilwoman, Rosa Scudia Brayton, was the president for the past year, and as her role as the president of the League of Cities, she did a wonderful job with that, and I want to congratulate her on the year that she was able to complete. On the 29th, and I'll move really swiftly, the 28th, there was a law enforcement day, which was called LEAD. We had the opportunity to be out there and supporting our law enforcement, and that was held on 610th Street, right over next to the police department. That same time, the mayor and I had the opportunity, she may bring up this a little bit, is the Out of Darkness suicide prevention. It was well attended. Unfortunately, that's not a good term, well attended, but I'm sure there were supporters of individuals and families that were there that care about the ones that they lost, the loved ones that they lost. So that was, the mayor spoke and had words. On the 27th, backing up to King Kennedy Collaborative, had a wonderful dinner in which the mayor was a keynote speaker. She was honored, and our keynote speaker was our Vice Mayor, Eric Alvarez, who had a litany of all of the accomplishments and things that are up and coming for the city of Modesto, particularly for his district, and he did a wonderful job. On the 4th of October, there was a 36th annual Stanislaus County Equal Rights that was held right here in this building at 3:30. I was fortunate to be there as a representative of the city and as well as a commission member, and have been on that commission since 2005. We honored 4 individuals, and they were truly to be honored for the services that they have done in that role in the county, and they were nominated by their peers. October the 5th, we had a lot of wonderful things happening. McDonald's opened up where the restaurant was. However, I'm glad that something was opened up in that area, because we don't need any more blight in our community. We don't need empty buildings. And someone took the initiative to do something. Maybe it wasn't exactly what you wanted, but it was something that was necessary for that particular area in our city. Along with that same day, which was just Saturday, the International Festival took place, and it was well attended. If we are stronger together, if all of us were one ethnicity, it would be a pretty boring world. But I am so glad that all ethnicities have come together to celebrate one another, and it was a great time that day. State Theater the night before had a fundraiser in town at a wonderful spot, and everyone there enjoyed themselves. And so also, last but not least, the Boys and Girls State Delegates was Saturday night, and they were about 9 students from our local high schools. They went to a 3-4-day camp where there were 900 other students, and they received their certificates of completion. Several of them were either were lawyers, or they were city council individuals or state assembly. This was something that they were doing to get more educated in that particular arena. We are truly blessed to have young people in our community, as you already have saw earlier today by the Youth Commission, and so many others that are doing great work in our community. And that should close it up. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councilmember Wright?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to piggyback off of what Councilman Member Williams said about the McDonald's. That's a new restaurant that has hired 59 new jobs in Modesto, which is great. And also, they gave the Austin Spot $4,000 donation and to help with that project there at Bayer Park. Also, last Thursday was a town hall meeting for District 6. I want to thank our Modesto Police Department for putting it on. Staff was there to give a little update on our economic development and what was going on in Modesto. Modesto Police Department did a great job on letting our citizens know about our aerial command centers in our district. And also we had the East Side Mosquito Abatement was there to really talk about what's going on with the West Nile virus and the cause and what we can do as citizens to reduce the spread of mosquitoes. Also on on October the 29th, which is on a Tuesday, District 6 will be having a general plan workshop. I'll be starting at 5:30 at Freedom Elementary School. So mark your calendars. I'm putting a lot of information on Facebook and social medias on what's happening in our general plan. I'd like to see a good turnout there. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Any other reports from council members? Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I also want to remind people about the District 3 General Plan meeting. That is actually going to be tomorrow night at 5:30 at the Boy Scout Clubhouse in Enslin Park. So I hope that you can go down there and check that out. It's going to be pretty cool. I also want to talk, I was lucky enough to go to the first Women's Empowerment Training Camp for the fire department for women that are interested in becoming firefighters. It took a lot of hard work by a lot of people, and I really appreciate especially how hard our Modesto firefighters worked to make it happen, especially with all the coordination they had to do with MJC. They also brought in trainers from all over the state to help women. I watched women rappelling off a 6-story building, which was terrifying, but they were fine, I watched people breaking walls with axes, wielding 200-pound hoses. Anyway, it was pretty inspiring, and I'm hopeful that we can do it on a regular basis. I'm also really excited to see the police lowrider project continuing to move forward with help from Modesto City Schools and MJC. I really want to thank the members of the lowrider community that are pushing this and making this happen. Cheetah Morales, Betty Santos, Tina Perez, of course, Jerry Thompson, with support from Johnny Garcia from the Stanislaus Latino Chamber of Commerce, and of course, our police department too, Ivan Valencia and Chief Gillespie. This is going to be a really great experience for kids, learning how to work with cars and also participating with their local government and law enforcement. Thanks, Mayor.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. This morning we had the pedestrian safety project ribbon cutting at Modesto High, right in front of the high school. And that particular project is construction, not just in front of Modesto High to make biking and walking safer for students, but over the last few months, construction has been underway, which covers particularly a half a mile between Modesto High and Sheridan Street, along with a few blocks on some side streets. The vehicle lanes on Paradise Road have seen additions to roundabouts, a couple of them, and a median for left turns. And striping, which also indicates bike lanes, have been added on each side of the lane or the road, and then several crosswalks have become more visible. And the worn pavement throughout the project has also been replaced. And as my colleague Jeremiah stated, last weekend we had, it was a Friday, the Gatsby's Gala, which was the West Modesto Community Collaborative's annual gala, and Mayor Zwalin was recognized as a leading leader, along with Supervisor Terry Withrow. I commend them for all the work that they've been doing for several years, even since I was probably in diapers. So Thank you for all your work. And I did give a speech as a keynote speaker, and I want to talk a little bit about some of those accomplishments as we near the halfway mark in my term, Councilmember Bavaro's term, and Councilmember Williams' term. In a couple of weeks, we'll hit 2 years out of a 4-year term, and so I want to take this moment as a benchmark moment to highlight some of the work that we've accomplished. So I want to discuss some of those accomplishments here. So the city has worked towards enhancing family experiences and fun family activities at our parks, particularly Martin Luther King Park and Cesar Chavez Park. And a couple of council meetings ago, we unanimously approved Cesar Chavez Park renovation. That's a comprehensive $17 million park renovation, which will completely transform the park. And funding from this particular project, includes California Prop 68, the American Rescue Plan Act, and Measure H. And some of the key highlights for Cesar Chavez Park, a park where I grew up boxing at the Maddox Youth Center. Some of the key highlights will feature a new splash pad and an aquatics facility, a building expansion to the actual Maddox Youth Center, which is the building where all the student activities take place and all the programming, and a renovated soccer fields, a couple of soccer fields and basketball courts, several will be added. A skate plaza will be added as well, which my understanding, this is only the second or third skate park in the entire city. And my constituents are very happy to see that coming because it's been a long time since we've been advocating for a particular skate park. In addition, we'll see security cameras. I've been hearing a lot of social media, a lot of buzz on, once we renovate this park, what are we going to do to sustain its safety and sustain the facilities. And so we're adding security cameras, which will be, I'm imagining, confident that will be connected to the real-time crime center. Sorry, it's a little bit of tongue twister there. In addition, we're going to see a lot more to that particular park. Our traffic engineering division has worked hard to optimize traffic signals throughout the Paradise Corridor, as I just mentioned. And then we are going to see work done on several of our roads, which lead to safety on our streets throughout District 2, which has been a key concern from my constituents, even when I was running for election up until now. So in addition to that, the City of Modesto, Emerson took a long time, so I'm going to take some time to share some of my district's wins here. So in 2023, the Modesto Police Department introduced the Area Command Division as well, a strategic initiative that fosters a comprehensive and thoughtful problem-solving approach with enduring positive outcomes. And recently, the Governor of California issued an executive order directing state agencies and encouraging city leaders to move urgently to address dangerous homeless encampments, as was mentioned earlier. This executive order did not impact Modesto because our police department was proactively investing and responding to concerns about homeless in our community. We did not wait for the state to mandate us to do so. I have a lot more to say, Mayor, so I'm going to finish up with this. The Southwest Modesto plan is also a big accomplishment for District 2, which will include establishing a community identity for the west side in particular, my home area within the district. And we want Modesto to be a great place to live, visit, shop, and work. And the Southwest Modesto plan is a place where residents can value cultural identity or contribute to that cultural identity and be informed on its development. And in the plan, it calls for workforce development, good paying jobs, including education and training. And the Southwest Modesto plan in particular focuses on improving access to various community services such as healthcare facilities, banks, and daycare centers. So I'm happy to be able to report that, this 2-year benchmark. I'm looking forward to another 2 years as a city council member. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Williams?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry I left out an important deal that's going on this coming Saturday. The Learning Quest, which is located here in Modesto, is doing a fundraiser, and there are 66 individuals that are going to rappel from the building on 1524 McHenry Avenue, and I am one of them. I'll be going over the edge. I know that Jenny Canoia did it one time a few years back in Stockton, but this is a fundraiser for Modesto. If you want to go to learningquest.com, you can find out more information about it, but it is this Saturday, and I will be rappelling. If you don't see me the next council meeting, you know what happened. So thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Any other council member comments? I just have one, and that everything else was covered, I would say fairly thoroughly. But this is our murals downtown. And I knew they were wrapping up the painting. The artists have been working all week in that heat. And one of my favorite things to do is drive around Modesto and just see what's happening. So I just hopped in my car and I went and spoke with the artist and thanked them for their beautiful work. They're just gorgeous murals. You can see them downtown. I encourage you to drive and just enjoy the beauty of those and know that the people that did them were so appreciative of our hospitality in Modesto and all that surrounds that beautiful art community. All right. Next, I will ask if the city manager has any comments and reports. All right. Next on the agenda is new business, item 28, Consider the adoption of an urgency ordinance making findings and establishing a temporary moratorium on the establishment of new and relocation or physical expansion of existing tobacco retailer businesses, also known as smoke shops, within the city of Modesto to become effective immediately. And we will have a staff report. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Brandon Gillespie, your Chief of Police. In recent years, the city has experienced a proliferation of tobacco retailer businesses, specifically smoke shops in the city of Modesto, as well as complaints regarding criminal activity and illegal sales of tobacco and cannabis products. Today, we have 41 active smoke shops with business licenses in the city and are currently assessing whether additional smoke shops exist that either aren't properly identified or licensed. Over the past year, we've seen an increase in complaints regarding unauthorized tobacco and cannabis products being sold at our local smoke shops, which is often the targeting of minors with these products, and complaints about illegal gambling and or illicit activity. In April of this year, and again in May, the Modesto Police Department teamed up with the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, called the CDTFA, to conduct inspections at multiple smoke shops in our city. In both operations, nearly all smoke shops were found to be illegally selling flavored tobacco products, with many also selling THC-infused tobacco and food products. Additionally, we found psilocybin mushrooms. I'm going to flip through some of these slides so that you can see these were all found during those enforcement operations. Additionally, we found psilocybin mushrooms for sale, the illegal sale of menthol cigarettes. We found marijuana, methamphetamine, an illegal firearm, confiscated 11 illegal gambling machines, and seized over $10,000 from illegal gambling activities. We also found hidden rooms and storage areas located in some of these businesses, and it was clear the activities in many of these shops have become a major danger to the public and to the safety of our community, especially our youth. Here are some more slides of some of the illegal gambling machines, the firearms, some money, and some methamphetamine that we located. This slide shows some of the cartoon characters that are painted outside of one of the businesses. The right picture shows just normal candy bars, but those were right across and very near other products that had flavored tobacco or THC-infused products, and then nitrous oxide, clearly marketing towards youth on the left side. Coinciding with that, with what we have experienced, the California Department of Public Health or the CDPH, recently issued emergency regulations relating to industrial hemp and the threat to public health, safety, and welfare, particularly to minors. These emergency regulations went into effect on September 23rd, 2024, and notices were sent out from us to all of the licensed smoke shops in the city of Modesto. These emergency regulations aim to combat hemp products containing THC that skirt the age and sale restrictions that have been placed. I'm going to go back up because I just lost my spot here. The emergency regulations published by the CHP expand on the number of psychoactive cannabinoids that will need to be undetectable in industrial hemp final form products, including edibles such as gummies and other candies. These new regulations also restrict the serving sizes of such products containing 5 servings or less and limited to the sales of the products to consumers who are at least 21 years of age. So that when we look at the justification for the moratorium that we're asking for today, it's clear on the experience that we've had with the enforcement operations that we continue to see that there's an immediate need to address the public's health and safety of our community. The authority is granted under Government Code Section 36937 and 65858. I'm sure the city attorney will make a few comments at the end of this regarding any legal questions regarding that. And the public health threats from the illegal sales of flavored tobacco, which is already prohibited under SB 793. But again, I want to stress that in the enforcement operations we've done, almost all of the smoke shops that we've done enforcement are not even complying with this Senate bill of prohibiting the sale of flavored tobacco products to our youth. This moratorium also allows, if passed, the city the time to develop new regulations and better manage these tobacco retailers. It's something that we have been talking about, that we are continuing to talk about, and this moratorium will really let us make sure that we have take a comprehensive look and come back to the council at a later date with a comprehensive package of regulations to ensure that we have teeth when dealing with these businesses and to make sure that our community is safe. The tobacco retailer businesses, as defined in our municipal code, the ones we are targeting are specifically these smoke shops, or the definition is the retailer or wholesaler that sells tobacco, hemp products, tobacco products, or paraphernalia, and has over 15% or more of their square foot in the establishment for the sale of these items. There's an immediate need, I believe, and I believe staff believes, to preserve and protect the public peace and health and safety from the effects of tobacco use. And this will immediately limit the availability of harmful products to minors, because we won't be able to add any new businesses or business licenses during this moratorium period. And we'll reduce the criminal activities linked to these businesses. As talked about just a few minutes ago, it's not just the flavored tobacco, it's not just some of these THC-infused products, but there's a lot of other criminal activities that really establish almost like a criminal den atmosphere at a lot of these businesses. The proposed moratorium would be in effect for 45 days. The moratorium can be extended for up to a total of 2 years. And it will apply to new, relocating, or expanding tobacco businesses. And during that time, no new business licenses, land use permits, or business expansions would be approved under this proposal. So this is the staff recommendation that we have, a motion to adopt an urgency ordinance, if that's what you find, making findings and establishing temporary moratorium on the establishment of a new and relocation or physical expansion of existing tobacco retailer businesses, also known as smoke shops, in the city of Modesto, effective immediately. And I know the city attorney wanted to make a few comments as well.
Thank you, Chief. So I think the chief covered the law and for a moratorium, but the law does provide this almost status quo, and not allowing additional businesses of a certain type that are causing a public health, safety, or welfare issue in the city. City staff has actually already been working on an ordinance related to tobacco retailer businesses. This will give us additional time and to prepare that ordinance to bring to the council and not have additional businesses added to the city without the regulations that we're working on. It is for 45 days. We are going to be coming back most likely to extend the moratorium to allow us time again to bring you new regulations to consider. I think the chief covered most of or all of the other issues, but I'm happy to answer any questions that the council has.
All right, thank you for that report. Does council have any questions of staff? Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. One of the things I noticed in the report, and first of all, I really appreciate you guys bringing this forward because I think it's a really serious issue in our community. But we mentioned that there were 41 licensed shops. And I assume that means business license, or does that mean tobacco license, or what does that mean?
So those are our business licenses that we've been able to identify as smoke shops, what we consider a smoke shop. So when they apply for a business license, they identify what type of products they would be selling. And so these are the ones that we've identified as being smoke shops, but we are assessing whether, because we've seen a wide variety of claims of how many smoke shops we actually have. And so that is continuing, research we're continuing to do to actually see what the real number is.
Yeah, because the numbers I've heard are like around 70 or more potentially. Right. But let's say, so you're saying that they might have business licenses, but just might be licensed as something else? Is that what you're saying?
Really somebody could say that they're going to sell clothing and then potentially start selling tobacco, and we may not know about that. Or they could be a grocery store and then not, or let's say a liquor store and sell a small amount of tobacco products, but then in reality they could have expanded past that 15% and actually more of like a smoke shop, but we don't know that and they haven't reported that. So those are all of the information that we continue to assess and try to get a better handle on what our playing field looks like here in Modesto.
Understood. So how does the ban, so we put the ban in effect, and let's say they're not licensed, how does the ban affect places that are not licensed that are operating basically totally illegally?
Right. So that will be something we're going to continue to assess. If we come across complaints or we come across businesses through our proactive research, that we'll take the same enforcement action that we would if it was a smoke shop. I'm sure there'll be additional penalties and fees to any business that's operating outside the scope of their business license, and we'll work with our finance department, our code enforcement office, and our city attorney's office to make sure that we use all available remedies for anybody operating outside of their current business licenses.
Thank you. Those are my questions.
All right, Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, thank you for your report. Are we still doing investigations or are we doing inspections on a regular basis to all the smoke shops that are in the city of Modesto?
So as I previously mentioned, we've done 2 already this year. It's something that we continue to look at. We do receive complaints from the public and other ways. But it is, I wouldn't say that we have a monthly inspection, but we do, it is a priority for us and it is something that we're continuing to look at. We'll make sure that we continue with enforcement and inspections.
And would the inspections be done by code enforcement?
Our inspection is, we bring code enforcement with us. We bring officers with us in case we uncover criminal activity like we've done in previous inspections. And then the California Department of Taxes and Fees Administration has been a huge partner and asset in this because this is really their areas of expertise. So we can do it by ourselves, but we typically bring a variety of resources with us when we do inspections.
Yeah, I would recommend that we somehow figure out a way to do a regular inspection on all the smoke shops on either bi-quarterly or every 6 months, and do a random, so they don't know that Modesto PD is coming. We're just going to show up. This will really put a damper on all the illegal activity that's happening.
Yeah.
And then once you find illegal activity, and there's customers in there that are doing illegal activity, are they arrested or are they cited or what?
Depending on what activity that they're involved in, they could be arrested and or cited. If they're involved in illegal gambling activity, they could be cited or arrested, as well as possession of any type of, other contraband or illegal substances.
And do we close the shop down, the smoke shop down for a period of time, or what's the penalty that they get?
So that's one of the things that we're looking at, and the concern that we have, I think we all share, is that often what happens when people are in violation of their city business licenses, it comes with notice of violations and notices, and there's fees and penalties, and there's appeal hearings and things like that are afforded the business owner. So right now, we just don't have the teeth that if we find violations like I've just showed on this PowerPoint slide, to go in there and shut those down in any timely fashion. So that's something that we're really interested in, and we're working with the city attorney's office and other city departments to make sure that when we come back to the city with proposed ordinance modifications or new ordinances, that we have something that is robust and make sure that we can keep our community safe.
Right. I would recommend the city attorney's office to really work hard on when there's illegal activity happening in any business, that we have an ordinance that would just shut that business completely down. And I think once you start doing that, you'll find that we're going to have less problems going on like we do now.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. You mentioned to open up a smoke shop, all you need is a business license. There's no other regulatory license at this time, correct?
I don't believe through the city there is. Through the state, I think they have to register to be a tobacco seller because they have to pay certain taxes on tobacco. But as far as the city goes, I believe it's just the business license is typical. I'm looking back at Deanna.
And if we do pass the moratorium, it takes effect immediately, correct?
Correct. That's what we're asking for, and the city attorney could probably give you the specifics, but I think if you guys have a finding that it's urgent need, then I believe within the law if you make that finding, that it can be effective immediately.
And in the Modesto Bee, back on March 30th, there was an article that smoke shops had inspections resulting in 8 arrests and seizure of illegal firearm, illegal gambling machines, and other illegal items. On illegal items, would that include illegal fireworks? Did we find any illegal fireworks?
I don't recall any illegal fireworks that we found. No, we did not find any illegal fireworks during those inspections. We did find marijuana, we found methamphetamine, and other products.
And you did, the pictures I see here from the police department with cannabis, or whatever you want to call it, marketing as though they were candy.
Yep.
And these are being sold to minors, as I understand it, correct?
Yes, they are absolutely, in my opinion, marketed when you have cartoon characters, when you have the way, as shown in the pictures, that they're being marketed on the packaging. This is absolutely being targeted to our youth, which was called out in the CDPH's findings and their emergency findings, that due to the brain development of youth and things like this, that they've had reports of youth and young adults being hospitalized, and it was part of their findings for this emergency regulations that were enacted.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, Councilmember Scudia Brayton.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for that report, Chief. You did reference the 45-day with the extension of 2 years, but what is an anticipated reasonable timeframe that you anticipate the write-up of our regulations will take?
I don't think it will take 2 years, but I do think it will probably take several months at least before we can come back. I don't want to come back to the council with something that isn't robust and thorough. I want to make sure that when we do come back, it's a full package, and we've thought out, looked at what other cities may be doing, maybe even charting our own way.
Sure.
To make sure that we can protect our community. Because what we're finding right now, and I want to emphasize that, is we have established laws in California that prohibit flavored tobacco and other things being sold, and every single one of these places we've gone into are not complying with the law. So they're not being good business owners, not being good community partners, and we need to make sure that we have the teeth to shut these places down when we find these continued violations.
Agreed. To that end, can you speak to any other municipality that you might be aware of right now that their regulations do have the teeth to be effective in ensuring that these smoke shops don't take up business or at least continue in selling of their illegal products?
It's something that is a problem all throughout California and the nation, so I can't think of off the top of my head an agency that I say, hey, they've got this down.
Okay.
I think it's a problem throughout California especially, and we're all struggling with this. So we're going to take bits and pieces from any city that we can find that maybe have something and then probably develop our own. Because I think, as far as I know, at least locally in this area, especially after these emergency regulations, I think we're the first city that I'm aware of to come forward with a moratorium on this type of business.
I see, okay. I'm not surprised that we're the first to pursue such a challenging project. Perhaps this question is best directed to our attorney, but who will be the authority approving the regulations? Will it be the city council?
Yes, so the idea would be those, it would be an ordinance, it would be an amendment to your municipal code, and that would come before the council for approval. If there are any zoning changes, those would have to go to the planning commission first, and then would go to the council, but the authority would be, the approval authority is here at the council.
Wonderful, thank you very much. I just have one or two more questions, I apologize. Once the regulations are in place, will, of course, the regulations will be effective to the existing businesses, but will new businesses that sell tobacco products be permitted to take up sale and shop?
So that's a good question. The reason for the moratorium is to allow us to have time. So yes, so once you have those additional regulations that come before the council, that's when you would end your moratorium as well, because now you would set up that framework of regulations to prevent these safety concerns.
I see, okay. And my last question is, do we or will we have some type of call-in community number where a citizen can report illegal activity in a smoke shop?
So you can report it in a variety of ways through the non-emergency line, through our Go Modesto app. You can call Crime Stoppers or email any of the city or police department numbers, and that message will get to us. So a variety of ways that anybody who's aware of these, I encourage them to and ask that they report so that we can be aware of any additional smoke shops or illegal activity going on.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremiah Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, do we have any zoning regulations for schools in the nearby area? What is that regulation? Is it, 100 feet, 500 feet, 1,000 feet? What is that?
Well, that is something that we're actually looking at in these new regulations. I don't believe we currently have any regulations that prohibit any type of distance from schools and things like that. And I know from our last inspections that we do have at least one that I know of that's fairly close to a school. So that is one of the things, you're stealing my thunder, no, but that's one of the things that we are assessing because that's a concern for us, right? We don't want these products available to our youth, and so a proximity type of zoning issue is something that we all are considering in the conversations that we've already had.
So once that's established, and if there is one in that zone that shouldn't be in that zone, we would cause them or ask them to move, or how does that work?
That's probably a better question for the city attorney.
City attorney?
Well, we'll be looking at the ordinance. Usually you have businesses that are already in place that wouldn't be asked to move, but that's something we're looking at. But the folks that are already established, they're already there. Now, if they were to close down, if there were enforcement issues, for example, and they would lose their permit, let's say if we establish a specific permit for these businesses, then they wouldn't be able to reopen in that location.
But no one else would be able to open in that location
That's correct.
whatsoever?
That's correct.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Jose.
All right, any other questions from council members? I just wonder what, if any, outreach is happening with parents and with the youth so that they are aware of these products and how dangerous they potentially are. I know that it's not, obviously this could be through the schools and other places, but do you have any insight on that?
Well, exactly what you said is what I was going to mention. I know that there's a lot of education attempting to be done through our school systems, and even probably 6 months ago, but more to show the problem, is I was at a local high school after an event, and I had a teacher send me a photo of a 5-gallon bucket of all the vape pens that they had confiscated from students within a month period. And they said basically every month they have to go and dump that bucket out at the district office and dispose of those vape pens, with often having flavored tobacco and things like that in it. So it is a problem, and I think there probably needs to be more education, but I think that the school districts are trying to do education at that level, and it's something that we should definitely consider, how we can also assist with that.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions regarding item 28 from council members? Seeing none, I will open this up to the public. Any members of the public regarding this item?
Good evening, council members and mayor. My name is Sabrina Tour, and I'm a junior at Modesto High School. I'm here today as a youth representative to urge you to adopt a moratorium and eventually a tobacco retail license policy that addresses the growing issue of youth access to tobacco in our community. We need strong local policies to protect youth from the harms of tobacco. One of the aims of the tobacco retail license policy in Modesto is to ban the sale of flavored tobacco, and I think that this is especially critical for youth. The use of flavored and cheap tobacco products among youth is rampant, and it's only getting worse. Despite policies and state laws like Prop 31 and SB 793 banning flavored tobacco, these products are still easily accessible in our community. As a high schooler, I see this every day. It's not just numbers on a page, it's real life for me. I watch groups of students gather in the locker rooms and bathrooms sharing fruity flavored vapes like blue raspberry or mango flavors. These products are highly addictive and are pulling more and more of my peers into tobacco usage, affecting not just their health, but their academic success. Some can't even sit through a full class period without needing to vape. And this isn't just happening in Modesto, it's a statewide and national issue, but Modesto has the power to address it locally here and now. In Modesto, the youth tobacco problem is magnified by the high density of tobacco retailers, which research shows is associated with increased youth smoking rates and lower cessation rates for adults. This has to change, and a comprehensive tobacco retail license policy is the solution. I ask that you adopt a moratorium on tobacco retailers and work towards implementing a tobacco retail license policy which goes beyond simply being a health issue. This is about protecting my generation from a lifetime of addiction and harm. I urge you to take swift action and adopt this TRL policy to help reduce youth access to tobacco in Modesto. The Stanislaus Tobacco Prevention Action Team and the Stanislaus Health Services Agency are here to provide support and education. And we already have local data showing the need for the ordinance. Let's follow through for the sake of our community's health, particularly the most vulnerable, our youth. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Any other public comments regarding this item?
Mayor, council, I agree with the student that you had come up here. She's very articulate and very on point. I'm a bronchial asthma case. I've grown up with her, grew up around smokers. So these young kids, they don't realize what their damage they're doing to themselves. And for these smoke shops, well, it's more than just the tobacco, it's the drug issue that's going on. When you got the homeless out there and they're able to go into these facilities to get those narcotics, because now they're going to a legitimate facility to get those narcotics. And I think I agree with the Councilman Wright, make it more stiff. So if they do get caught, shut it down. Take away their business license, put them out of business. But on top of that, I was driving home one night from the council meeting and there was a new business that come up and it was a smoke shop. Well, he hadn't put up all of his window covering, I call it. But it was so bright in there, you could see everything that's going on, and that might be something to consider, is making an ordinance to where they can't have all that stuff on their windows, so people can actually see what's going on in there. So if a police unit drives by, they can see who's in there and see what's going on. If a parent drives by and sees one of their kids inside there by chance, they can go in there and say, hey, you shouldn't be in here. Because it just kind of acts more of a deterrent for any kind of behavior that shouldn't be going on. So that way it's more visible, because we like to have transparency. Well, that's another way to have that transparency out there. So that was something that I noticed driving, because when you drive around and you see these smoke shops, they got all that window covered and you can't even see inside of what's going on. So a person takes a second to go inside, you don't know what they're doing in there. So that's just an idea I would like to toss out there, but I think it's a great idea with the councilman, David Wright, to be more stringent about it, because these smoke shops, I think a lot of them, I think you need to cut over half of them in the city alone because of all the issues that they create. So thank you.
All right. Anyone else regarding this item?
Emerson Drake again. No, this is a tough issue for anybody to fall on either side of. Part of me, look, I've got great-grandchildren that are about the age where we'd be concerned about it, okay? Let's not pretend that any one of us wants our family, our friends, our neighbors, the children to go into these stores and to be able to buy illegal products. On the other hand, I go, you know, it really disturbs me that the Modesto Police Department doesn't feel that they're capable of shutting these stores down. Do we need more teeth in the ordinances? Sure. Do we want to do the 70s version where the crack cocaine epidemic, where we want to give them 20 years? No. You know, when we do the shoulder taps for alcohol sales, we don't shut down the business. We take care of the problem. If you've got a clerk selling illegally, fine the clerk. Take care of it. If it continues, go after the owner. Maybe we need better tools. But quite honestly, declaring a moratorium is just a feel-good. It's like, you know, I expect Kevin Bacon to come in, do his slide, teach us all how to dance. You know, it's just a feel-good. They're not going to open, I sincerely doubt they'll open 30 new stores in the next month. It shouldn't take a month for you to get an ordinance out there that has teeth. If they're selling to children, if you've got mushrooms in the store, it's pretty simple. If you've got THC products in the store, it's pretty simple. You go in, you get them out, and you arrest them. What's the issue? I'm not saying it's not important. My 9 and 10-year-old great-granddaughters, I wouldn't want them anywhere near one of these stores. But after this came up, I visited 2. Well, I didn't see any illegal products. I'm just saying, maybe they've gotten scared. I don't know. I don't have a use for these stores. I don't need to go. But, you know, we just heard one councilman go, you know, not everybody wanted a McDonald's to go in there, but it fights the blight. Strangely enough, these stores, if they perform illegally, are a way to capture sales tax that goes in your pockets, our pockets. You know, they're providing jobs for the community. Just because it says smoke shop on the outside doesn't mean they're out there looking for little kids to deal to. I don't have any money in smoke shops. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I have to ask the questions. I believe the MPD can stop this issue. You know, when it comes to drunk driving, we don't do anything unless the state gives us money. When it comes to the shoulder tap operations, we don't do any of that unless the state is giving us money, or the feds. If we're concerned about that, let's get out there and let's shut these stores down that have the illegal products. It can't take long. Thank you for your time.
Any other comments regarding item 28? All right. I will close public comments and ask council members for comments. Councilmember Bavaro.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, moratoriums are not a feel-good process. That's nonsense. And also, illegal sales of drugs or anything like that, I don't want to alarm you, but they don't pay sales tax, okay? It's all cash. Smoke shops are nothing more than a cesspit that brings zero positive value to our city. at a forum hosted by Stanislaus County Supervisor Chance Condit and San Joaquin County Supervisor Tom Petty last August, Councilmember Ricky and myself were shown an abundance of illegal drugs and illegal gambling machines that are in many of these shops. It was alarming and very concerning. Smoke shops are a public safety and a health concern, and passing this moratorium is the first step to strict regulatory oversight. I will be supporting this moratorium. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, Councilmember Ricky.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to also echo Councilmember Bavaro's sentiments here. I'm pleased with this first step, but I'm looking for more significant steps as soon as possible. This is a major threat to public safety in our community. Businesses selling cannabis illegally, fentanyl, mushrooms, and meth out of retail spaces in Modesto with business licenses is just beyond my comprehension. It's like we're living in the Twilight Zone. I think we also have to be cognizant of the tax evasion that these spaces are engaged in. It's not a coincidence that Modesto's cannabis tax revenues have fallen by $2 million a year. That's what happens when you open dozens of unlicensed retail shops right next door that don't pay any taxes. And this is income that's due to the City of Modesto that we use to improve our parks, improve our fire station, hire more traffic officers. We need to fix this issue. This is a major issue in our community. I applaud the city for putting this moratorium forward. I think it's a great step, and I am really looking forward to further steps coming soon.
All right, any other comments from council members? Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm also in support of this effort, and I want to thank Sabrina Tour on the Youth Commission for her study. I know when I first came on the council a couple years ago now, they were one of the first stakeholder groups to approach me. The tobacco cessation initiative has been something on the forefront of my district's priorities, and because these tobacco smoke shops and liquor stores, unfortunately, you have a higher density of them in lower socioeconomic communities, which is District 2 literally is some of the poorest zip codes within the city. And it's important because the distance between high schools, elementaries fall within a couple of, I know particularly a couple of elementary schools in Modesto High have a liquor store right up the street, and you guys walk through there daily. And so even if you're not using or purchasing or going in there, it's in your peripheral. And I think being able to combat this through this effort will help reduce the peripheral options that our students have, and ultimately contribute to a change in communities' behavior, because it's a generational issue. Now that we've seen the study from Sabrina Tour's research, and even at the state and federal level, we have the ability to make change here at the local level, which ultimately changes behavior for our communities. And I really do want to prioritize this, because in District 2, we see this probably disproportionately compared to all the other districts. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
I also wish to applaud the words and studies of Ms. Tour. This subject first was brought to my attention from her and the work that was being focused on. So I applaud her and her efforts, as well as the city for being early implementers on many important things to communities, in particular one that impacts our community's health and well-being. So again, thank you to the good work that everyone has done. And I also will be casting a vote of approval on this, and look forward to see the results of these regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, I do want to also acknowledge Sabrina and her efforts. I think that she demonstrated tonight by her example shows you what one young woman that is strong and intentional and dedicated to a cause can do. I appreciate your efforts. This is not just something that happened tonight. This is an initiative, an effort that she is working on in our city, but it's also now even nationwide. I follow her closely on social media and watch what she's creating, and I'm just grateful that I could be there in the beginning. So thank you for being here this evening, along with your family. Appreciate their support. I will be supporting this effort. This is something that we need to do to improve our community, and especially for our young people. I will, our city attorney will make one comment regarding the motion, the way it was printed on the agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. And I know our police chief did have the presentation. Is the correct motion, the agenda report mentioned motion introducing and waiving the first reading? It's actually, the title is correct on the agenda report. The motion will actually be adopting an urgency ordinance. It does require a 4/5 vote, and it becomes effective immediately.
All right, so I have a motion adopting an urgency ordinance making findings and establishing a temporary moratorium on the establishment of new and relocation or physical expansion of existing tobacco retailer businesses, also known as smoke shops, within the city of Modesto to become effective immediately. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilmember Scudia-Brayton
It's all right.
and a second by Councilmember Wright. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Wright.
Aye.
Councilmember Scudia-Brayton.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Ricky.
Aye.
Councilmember Bofaro.
Aye.
And Mayor Zwollen.
Aye, carries unanimously. Are there any matters too late for the agenda? Seeing none, I am calling this meeting of the City Council to be adjourned.